Hi, today is Thursday, 7th time of Brian Trash speech. Let's start. But let me tell you about myself just a minute. I started off from a poor family. We did not have very much money. My father and mother did not always have jobs. From the time I was 10 years old, I worked in the neighborhood to earn my own money to pay for my own clothes. And I never took money from my parents again from the age of 10. I did not graduate from high school. I finished in the half of the class. That makes me top half possible. They say that everybody is good for something, even if it's only to be a bad example. And I was a bad example. So when I left school, the only job that I could get was washing dishes in the back of small hotel. And when I lost that job, I got a job washing cars with a car company. And when I lost the job, I got a job washing floors with a janitorial service. I thought that washing was going to be my future, but it was downhill trail. So when I lost those jobs, I lost when you say I lost a job. When you are young, it means that you got fired. When I got fired from these jobs, I would go to the next job. I used to live in my car at one time because I didn't have a place to live. I would work in factories sometimes in the afternoon, sometimes overnight. I worked in sawmill and lumber mill in the mountains. I worked in construction labor. I worked on farms and ranches. I worked on ship in the North Atlantic. I did laboring jobs for many years. How many people here are in sales? Okay, well, that's what I got into when I couldn't get laboring job as well. So I know where you are coming from. So I got into sales and I didn't know how to sell. They told me that all you have to do is talk to enough people and you will be successful. Well, I wasn't afraid to work. So I went to begin talking to people, but nobody bought anything. So I would talk to more people, and still nobody bought anything. So I began to run from place to place, so I could be rejected more often. And I did this for about 6 months, going around in circles. Every so often, occasionally, I would make so I would make a sale which is just enough to stay alive. Then one day I did something has changed my life and it brought us here together. I went to the top salesman in my company. He was selling 10 times as much as anybody else. And I asked them, "What are you doing differently from me?" And he said, "Well, let me see if I can help you." He said, "Show me your sales presentation." I said, "What's a sales presentation?" He said, "Well, it's logical and orderly way of selling your product." And I said, "You mean there is a logical and orderly way of selling?" And he said, "Yes." And he showed me a logical and orderly way, which I will explain to you a little bit later. And so I began to sell in a logical way. It's very much like phoning with a telephone. If I ask you for your phone number and I say, "I will call you later," and you will give me a number, well, I can take out my phone. They provided this phone in the hotel. I can take out my phone anyway, and if I know your number, can put in your number and phone will ring. You will answer the phone. If I give your number to someone else, they can phone you. As long as you have the right phone number, you can get through to the person. But what if I say to you, I will phone you later this week? And you say, yes. I say, goodbye. And you say, what? Don't you want my number? I say, no. It's no problem. I found out your number by pushing the buttons. And so I will just push your number and say, are you? Oh, I just push some more buttons. Okay, I'll finish now. Bye. Sure.